I'm a dude, and I'm inviting you to join me on a podcast about brews.
Does that include stouts?
Yes, of course it includes stouts. Like I was saying, join us every Saturday on the journey into...
Wait a minute. Do you guys do anything about like IPAs?
Yes,
Stuff like that?
yes, we do IPAs.
Okay.
Yes. Anyway, join us on the Journey into Comics Network for Brews with Dudes.
Whoa, hey, have you guys do you care if I bring some Zima on?
Yes, I care if you bring Zima. Zima doesn't count. Zima's Dr. Dongo. Anyway, join us every Saturday for a podcast that delves into the craft brew world.
The following
Journey into Comics.
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 Network.
Production.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Kids for Sale podcast. I am your host Chris, as usual, and kind of also as usual. With me tonight is no guest. It's just me flying solo again tonight, which is okay because I know it's the holiday season and everybody's busy. So I'm gonna make this a quick one anyway, because I'm also pretty busy getting ready for the holidays and stuff. It's really tied me up for the last couple of weeks, putting up the Christmas lights and Christmas shopping and all that stuff. So it's been tough to find time to record this episode, which is why A, I'm solo again, and B, I'm gonna make it a quick one. And you know what? I'm hearing a little buzzing, and I don't know why. Oh, now it went away. I wonder if that's going to show up on the audio, on your audio. Anybody else hearing a buzzing? Maybe not. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. But anyway, this is episode. God, I should look this up before I start recording, but I never do. So I don't know what episode number it is. And actually, Ashley changed her computer settings. Now she's got this her Windows looks like a phone, like the tiles on the apps and I hate it. I hate the way she has it set up. So, actually, while we're talking about computers, I'm gonna go ahead and say that my beautiful wife has purchased me a new computer that I can start recording my podcasts on. She got me a MacBook for Christmas, which well, shit. Now what can I get that compares to a MacBook? She really screwed me on this one. It's one of the nicest gifts, if not probably the nicest gift anybody's ever gotten me. And now I have, what I was planning on getting her doesn't even compare to this. So I don't know. But the reason I was bringing it up is so the MacBook only has the. Forgive me for not using the correct terminology. I'm not a Mac guy, but I think it's called the Thunderbolt ports instead of USB ports. And I don't have anything that can go from Thunderbolt to my audio interface. So I can't record with it until I get a new adapter or something. So it's sitting here on the desk next to me, just waiting to be used, like that toy that you get on Christmas morning as a kid that, batteries not included, and, Santa forgets to get batteries in your stocking that year. So you just got this brand new toy that you just want to play with and you can't use it. That's how I feel right now. Which actually brings us right to our topic, which, by the way, I did look. We're on episode 15. This is episode 15. Welcome to episode 15. It brings us right to our topic, is Christmas. Yeah, obviously, if you're listening to this episode right as it's coming out, it is December 14th when this episode drops. I'm actually recording on the 13th. So Christmas is just a week and a half away. And, Christmas is a very tough time and very rewarding time of year, both for parents. And, for anybody really, but for parents that, it's stressful because you want to make it the best holiday you can for your kids, but it also a lot of times means it's going to be expensive. So I know in my household, for instance, that's meant that I've been working a ton of overtime lately. The last 3 or 4 weeks I've been on, 60-hour weeks or so, 70-hour weeks, which, I mean, compared to what I used to work when I was working construction, 60 hours a week is really nothing, but you get used to working the 40-hour weeks for the last year and a half. Going back to 60 hours is like, it's draining. And actually last week I was on nights, but I'm getting off topic here. Well, not really, because this brings up a good point, is the sacrifices that parents have to make sometimes for their kids around the holiday time. It's tough because I want to give my kids the best Christmas I can give them, which means I need extra money. So I have to work extra. But while I'm working extra, I'm missing time at home with them, So you have to find that balance, You can't just go in and work doubles all week long just so you can have Christmas money, because in the meantime, that's a week or 2 weeks or whatever that you're giving up seeing your kids entirely, And I know it's rewarding on that Christmas morning, but don't you think they would have rather had that time with you all leading up to that day? I mean, a toy is a toy, but time with you, they can never get that back, And you can never get that back with them. So that's something to think about. Don't kill yourself working for Christmas. Maybe I should have taken my own advice, because I worked probably a lot more the last few weeks than I needed to, and more than I should have. I guess that's the first thing I wanted to say was, the money is important, but time is also important. Find that right balance, especially going around the holiday season. Being around your family during the holidays is important, not just on the holiday itself, but spending that season with them. There's a lot of stuff you can do with your kids to prepare for the holiday season. We've been trying to do as much of it as we can. We decorated our house for Christmas. That meant that me and Mark sat for a couple hours at the kitchen table, stringing out all of our Christmas lights and checking every single bulb, and making sure they were all in the right order and stuff. Did I talk about this already? I know I've told the story to 15 people already about, we checked all of our lights and everything. Okay, maybe I'll recap. I'll try to go through the quick version. So we sat at the kitchen table for a couple hours, stringing out all of our lights, checking all of our bulbs, and making sure they were in the right order. I said all that already. But yeah, so we did that, and then it came time to put them up. We strung them around the house. We plugged them all together to make sure that they were going to reach where we wanted them to reach, because this is our first time decorating this house for Christmas. So I wasn't sure how many strings I needed. I wasn't sure how, where to start and where to end. And so this was all new. So I got up on the roof. I started clipping, putting the clips on the gutter. Mark passes me up the lights. I start clipping the lights into the gutter clips, and I get all the way around the house. Everything looks great. I run the extension cord up there. I get it plugged in on the back deck, and I go around to the front to take a look at, how it looks. And there's 2 10-foot sections, one on one side of the house, one on the other, just dead. The rest of the lights are all lit up. It looks great, but 2 10-foot chunks right out of the middle. And it's like, what the hell, man? I checked every single one of those lights. And Mark, actually, that was Mark's favorite part, was helping me check all the lights. We kind of got a system down, and it was fun. I know it's work, so you wouldn't think the kids enjoy it, but sometimes kids around, especially around Mark's age, anything that he sees Dad working around the house and stuff, and he wants to help out and be a dude with Dad, And the Christmas lights, that was something easy that I could put him on to help me out with. That really helped him. It really made him feel like he was helping out, So he was, I was pulling out the old bulbs, and he was giving me new ones to replace them with and stuff. So it ended up being pretty fun. So keep that in mind if you have kids around that age. That it's helpful to have them help you. I know sometimes it's frustrating trying to get kids to help you with anything because they're not doing it right, and then you have to fix everything that they're doing. But it's rewarding too, because now he looks at the lights on the house and he thinks to himself, I did that, and it's a point of pride, so he enjoys it more. But yeah, so those two goddamn 10-foot sections right in the middle, but we got them fixed. It took a week and a half, so I had just left them unplugged for like a week and a half, but we got them fixed, and now our house looks decent for Christmas. This is the last Christmas, actually the last 2 Christmases, we were in an apartment, so it's not like we had a whole house to decorate. Ashley does an amazing job of decorating like the insides of the house for the holidays. She has totes just full of stuff ready to go, window clings and stuff to hang on the walls, and put the little knick-knacky stuff out on the shelves to make it more festive and stuff. And that's not just Christmas either. She has Halloween stuff, Thanksgiving stuff. She has St. Patrick's Day, Valentine's Day, Easter. She's every season is covered. We just have totes under the stairs now of all that stuff. But anyway, I'm sidetracking again. So the last 2 years, we just had the apartment to decorate. So we decorated the inside real nice, but all we could do outside was like our balcony. So we just wrapped our balcony railing with Christmas lights, and that was it. So this year it was like, we have an entire house to do now. And even now, I mean, if you drive past my house, it's not the best looking house on the block. It's literally just a string of lights around the gutters and then an inflatable light up Santa and snowman in the front yard. But it's a little bit of something, and the kids enjoyed helping out, and now that they look at the snowman, the girls helped me put up the snowman and the Santa, and Mark helped me put up the lights, and it was fun. So let's see, what else? Did I start talking about anything else? I need to start keeping notes, because especially on these solo episodes, I get myself so sidetracked I don't even remember where I started. Christmas lights. The Christmas tree. We all decorated our Christmas tree together. We kind of make I know it's not like this is our tradition, and I'm sure everybody does it this way, but we have, I have a bunch of ornaments from when I was a kid, like handmade ornaments that I made in school, and stuff like that I started letting the kids put those up on the tree this year. But every year it's been like, those are my ornaments to put up, and then we have every year we let the kids each pick out their Jeez, I can't talk today. Every year we take the kids to the store, and they get to pick out a new ornament for the season. So each year there's a new set of ornaments on the tree, and the kids get to always hang up their own ornaments. And then once we get all of like the special ornaments up, then we just fill the rest of the tree with like just the regular ball ornaments. I don't even know what you call those. Just the globe orb. I don't know. The glass balls. Some of them are glittery. Some of them are shiny. Some of them are like a matte finish. I hate the glittery ones. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Glitter is the worst thing, and it sucks. Kids love glitter, and I hate it. It gets on everything, and it never comes off. You have to burn the place down to get it to come off. But the kids love it, so more glitter, I guess. I'm going to have glitter in my house till I die, I guess. But, so, yeah, we did the Christmas tree. This year, we usually take our kids to, I guess this is going to be kind of local only, but I'm guessing most of the people that listen to this are local anyway. Near where we live, there is a candy factory in Hobart, Indiana, or Maryville, Indiana. I don't know technically what the address is, but it's in the Hobart or Maryville area, if you're familiar with it. The candy factory is called Albany's. Now, nationally, like, Albany's gummies are pretty famous nationwide. So if you're listening from other parts of the states, you may have seen Albany's gummies around. Well, the Albany's gummies are all made in Northwest Indiana, and in their factory like the front end of their factory, they have a candy store, and in the candy store, for Christmas and Easter, they set up, they have a photo company come in, and they take pictures with Santa and pictures with the Easter Bunny. And actually, in Northwest Indiana, it's the best Santa around, I think. Well, it was. We always thought it was. So that's where we've been taking the kids for the last several years to get their pictures with Santa, was the Albany's Candy Factory. And it's great. It's a great setup, a great backdrop. The Santa's always really good. And the picture pricing is not terrible. It's better than some places I've seen. And then the kids get a little bag of gummies free with the photo session. And then also it's just fun because the store itself is just fun to bring kids to. I mean, it's a little bit of a nightmare because it's always busy in there. Oh boy, I might be locking up. Oh, no, the screen just froze, but it's still recorded everything, I think. Yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare sometimes. Uh-oh, maybe it's... Oh, yeah, it is recording. Okay. I'm watching the waveforms on the screen, and they keep freezing up, but it's recording. So, anyway, yeah, the Candy Factory is a bit of a nightmare because it's busy. But it's really fun. It's not like Willy Wonka or anything. It's not any crazy, like, there's nothing crazy about it, except for one side does have like this big giant, like, dripping chocolate fountain thing. But I don't know, A, if that's even real chocolate, and B, if it is real chocolate, I don't think you can like eat it or anything. I know for sure there's nothing you can dip into it. I don't know if the employees dip something in it or not. I've never seen anybody dipping anything in this chocolate fountain. If it's even still there, I don't know. We didn't go this year. That's what I was getting around to. We didn't go to Albany's this year. We may go this weekend, but probably not. We instead opted to go to Cabela's, which I know Cabela's and Bass Pro Shops are big in this region. So there's a lot of them. Not a lot of them. There's one Cabela's nearby and one Bass Pro nearby. But I do know it's a chain. I don't know how far that stretches, if it's coast to coast or if it's just like a Midwest thing or not. But they're basically like hunting and fishing stores, hunting and fishing. I could have sounded more like a hillbilly if I wanted to. They are outdoorsman stores, but they set up a little Santa's Village thing where you can get your picture taken. And the reason we opted to go to this one this year, which if you are a family with pets, keep in mind, they are pet friendly. We were able to bring our dogs with us, and we got a picture all as a family with our dogs and the kids. And it was nice when we got there. There was only one family in front of us, and they were out of the way pretty quick. And then we got in line, and our dogs wouldn't sit still, so they had to snap picture after picture after picture trying to get a picture of everybody sitting still. Well, then the line started piling up, and I started feeling guilty. Ashley always gets mad because, like, I go out of my way to make sure, like, I'm not inconveniencing other people, and meanwhile, like, I'm giving up the stuff that I want, and a lot of times that means it cuts into, like, stuff that she wants to. Like, if she had her way, we probably would have sat and took another 50 pictures, and it would have taken another 10 minutes, and we would have inconvenienced everyone else in line behind us, which realistically, you know what? Tough shit. We were in line first. They can wait on us. It's our turn. And we should take our turn until we're done. The employees there weren't like rushing us or anything. They were trying their best to make sure we got a good picture. I was the one rushing, and we ended up with a picture. Actually, it looks pretty nice. It was a nice picture, except for our female dog, Duck. She's like moving a little bit, so she's a little blurry. So Ashley's hand is a little blurry too, trying to catch her and hold her still. But other than that, the picture turned out pretty nice. I wish we had planned a little bit more ahead. Cause I'll put the picture up on Facebook. I know I've been saying that a lot lately, and I keep forgetting to put pictures up. But also keep in mind, the pictures I've been trying to put up, I don't actually have copies of them. I've been trying to find copies of them, and it's hard to track them down. I just don't have the time. But this picture, the Santa picture with our family this year, I have it right on my Facebook, so I should be able to share it to the Kids for Sale page pretty easy. So you can see how nice our family picture turned out. And you can see the backdrop, too. If you're interested in getting your picture taken at Cabela's or at Bass Pro, they had a nice backdrop, a good Santa. Everybody was patient and friendly. And we got a free print. You know, that's even better. They gave us a free print of the picture. Now, you could pay a little bit extra to get extra copies if you want to distribute them, give them out to your family members or something. But if you're just getting a picture for just you to hang up at home, friggin' go to Cabela's. It's free. Free picture, nice backdrop, free print, and it's pet-friendly, kid-friendly. And it was great. It was nice. The dogs did really well in the store, surprisingly. The kids, a little less well in the store. But they did okay. It was fun. Mark is way more into that outdoorsy stuff, obviously, than the girls are. Mark is obsessed with guns and stuff, and, you know, Cabela's is the place to go if you want, if your kid, well, I shouldn't say if your kid, if you're into guns, Cabela's is the place to go. I'm not a gun guy. So Cabela's doesn't interest me at all. I'm also not a fishing guy. I'm not anything outdoors. I like to camp occasionally, but, other than that, I'll stay inside, please. So Cabela's does nothing for me, but Mark loved it. There was toy guns there, and he kept, oh, can we go look at the real guns? And I was like, nah, man, I'm not dragging pit bulls around while I shop for guns. Yeah, I'm not that guy. So anyway, that was our Christmas picture experience this year. Which I guess, if any of you are listening to this in proximity of your children, I should have put this warning up top, but I don't think I've said anything bad yet. But since we are discussing Christmas, there are some kid-sensitive issues to be discussed about Christmas. So maybe at this point, if your kids are around, why don't you go ahead and turn this program off and come back to it later when your kids aren't around. So you've been warned. The rest of the episode may have some spoilers. Let's put it that way. But yeah, Christmas shopping. So we've gotten actually a good portion of our Christmas shopping done just between. We didn't go Black Friday shopping this year. I've gone Black Friday shopping a lot of years, but now that Black Friday starts at basically it's like lunchtime on Thanksgiving now that the stores are opening, and it's ridiculous. It's too early. I was okay with it up until they started doing it before midnight, and then now I've just completely lost interest. So I didn't get any of the doorbusters or anything, but we tried to do some of the online shopping. We got some decent deals. Yeah, the Christmas shopping. Black Friday is decent if you have the patience and the time for it. I don't recommend it. Do the online deals instead. And even better, well, I'm not going to say even better, but there's some decent deals on Cyber Monday as well, which is Black Friday. So if you didn't start your Christmas shopping then, man, I don't know what to tell you. There's some decent deals going on at the stores right now, but I mean, you missed your good shopping window around Thanksgiving. That's the best. That's when everything is cheapest. So if you're at this point still shopping, you could have done better. So keep that in mind next year. If you're a new parent and you didn't know, I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't know. That's all you see on TV, the commercials for Black Friday and everything. You know the deals you missed, and be a little smarter next year, I guess. You know what Walgreens does every year for Christmas, and I think CVS does something similar since they're direct competition. I might be wrong about CVS. I know Walgreens does this for sure. They have a whole row of toys that are, I don't know, between $5 and $20 or something, that are always buy one or buy, there's some crazy deal, buy two, get two free, or buy one, get one free, or I don't know. we took advantage of that. Well, I can't say I took advantage of that. Ashley took advantage of that. So that's actually where we did a majority of our Christmas shopping this year, was at Walgreens. Because the girls at 4 years old, they don't need anything big and expensive. They don't need anything fancy. They want, the more stuff you have at that age, the better. Not the better stuff, the more stuff. It's not till they get to be around the age Mark's at where they really start noticing like the quality of their gifts, you know? So when they're young, you could fill them up with just Dollar Tree gifts and they're happy. They love that idea of unwrapping something and not knowing what's inside. So the more somethings that they can unwrap, not knowing what's inside, the better. So, I mean, don't break your back. Break your back is such a stupid term. That's not what I meant to say. Don't go too far out of your way to get your 4-year-old like the hottest gift of the season. Like last year, I think it was Hatchimals or whatever. And yeah, the girls wanted Hatchimals, and you know what? They didn't get them last year because we don't do like the big toy craze usually. Granted, there's been nothing really worth getting, but the Hatchimals were just nuts. I mean, it's like $60, or maybe even more. I don't even remember how much they were. I just remember they were insane and they were constantly sold out, and they were 3 last year. You know, are they even in 5 years? Are they even going to remember that they didn't get a Hatchimal? No, but you know what? We got them Hatchimals this year because they're cheaper this year. A lot easier to get this year. So, you know, the big toy that they wanted last year, they're getting it this year for half the price and half the effort. That's a crappy way to put it. Not half the effort, but, you know, it was easier to get them. I didn't have to wait in line at a store at midnight to make sure I got one or anything. And it's just, it's a toy animal that you only get to hatch it once. You know? Just buy them stuffed animals. Yeah, they don't get to hatch them, but you know what? So what? You're going to pay $60 just so they can hatch it once? And then it's just a toy at that point. And they could care less about it. So, I hope you didn't go crazy for Hatchimals last year, and I honestly probably paid more than I should have this year for them. Because you're paying all that extra money just to hatch it out of an egg one time, and then throw that egg away, and then it's just a toy that goes in the pile with the rest of the toys. Nothing else special about it. And that's what most of the hot toys are, you know. I don't know what makes them go crazy for them. I don't know if it's just like who has the best advertising that year or something. I remember when I was a kid, it was Tickle Me Elmo was one of them. I guess I wasn't a kid when that. I don't remember how old I was with Tickle Me Elmo. But that's like that was the first like toy craze that I feel like I was aware of, was the Tickle Me Elmo. And people were fighting at the stores over these Tickle Me Elmos. And it was just an Elmo doll that you squeeze the stomach and it goes, ha ha ha, that tickles. There's a billion toys that do that. A billion. They might not be Elmo, but there's... How many toys out there that you squeeze their belly and they laugh or something? There's so many of them. So many. And people are fighting for these friggin' Elmo dolls. And then Beanie Babies was another one. Luckily with Beanie Babies, it wasn't like stores were out of them. It was like if there was a certain one you wanted, yeah, you might not get that one. But there was like 100 of them. Maybe more. I don't remember how many Beanie Babies there were. I know I had a dozen of them when I was a kid. But I had like the ones that, the common ones, you know? Because my mom wasn't going to go and fight people for the rare Beanie Babies. Who cares about that? They were little beanbag toys that had a heart-shaped tag on them. You know? This year, from what I can tell, the hot toy or hot item is the Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu bundle pack for Nintendo Switch. That's one of the hot toy items, because I'll tell you what, I'm looking for it right now because that's what Mark wants for Christmas. And we got a Nintendo Switch about a month ago that I drunkenly ordered on eBay. Actually, it had to have been way more than a month ago because I I quit drinking 3 months ago. I don't think I've talked about that on the podcast, but that's not because that's not like to do with my kids or anything. But yeah, I quit drinking 3 months ago. But or maybe I wasn't drunk when I ordered it. Maybe Ashley was drunk, and that's how I convinced her to let me order it. That's probably more likely. We ordered it a couple months ago from eBay, came in, and has been sitting in my closet ever since. And we debated about sending it back, or not sending it back, but we debated about reselling it, or if we were going to keep it or not, because we already have a PlayStation 4, and I mean, we barely get to use that. And Mark is only over every other weekend. Scarlett's too young for a Nintendo Switch. I don't trust her with it. So we debated if we were going to keep it or not, but end of the day, it's a pretty cool thing. So I kind of wanted to keep it. Ashley wants Zelda Breath of the Wild. So anyway, so Mark's been asking for a Nintendo Switch for Christmas. So the family is getting a Nintendo Switch for Christmas, just so it's not his name going on the tag. Otherwise, he's going to think it's his, and he can control it and tell the girls when they can and can't play it, and that's not happening. So it's going to be the Plant family is going to get to open the Nintendo Switch for Christmas. But in the meantime, he's also asking for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. And, I mean, he can get the game without, like, the bundle pack. It comes with the Pokeball, you know. If anybody's familiar with the Pokemon world, if you're not, get familiar with it, because if you have kids, you're going to need to know. Because Pokemon has been hot since I was in middle school. And it keeps coming back over and over and over again, getting big again. And then it fades for a year or so, but then it comes back again when the next cycle of games comes out. So get yourself familiar with the Pokemon world, because it'll at least help you understand what the hell your kids are talking about. I lucked out because Pokemon came out when I was in, I don't know, maybe 5th, 6th grade. And I got it for Game Boy, and it's been one of my all-time favorite games since. Now, I didn't get deep into like the next generations. I'm still a first-gen guy, so as far as I'm concerned, there's only 151 Pokemon. But, oh god, that was the nerdiest thing I've ever said on this show. Anyway, the Let's Go Pikachu game, the bundle pack comes with the game that you can plug into your Nintendo Switch, and it comes with a controller shaped like the Pokeball. That, from all the reviews I've read, is supposed to greatly enhance playing the game. It's supposed to be a really intuitive controller for playing Pokemon Let's Go. And it's supposed to be good for almost nothing else. However, I keep finding out more and more cool stuff about it. It links to the Pokemon Go app. If anybody plays Pokemon Go on their phone, or their kids play Pokemon Go on their phone, this Pokeball controller can link to your game on the Nintendo Switch and the game on the app, so that you can transfer Pokemon. Well, you can already transfer Pokemon back and forth, but the cool thing is you can keep a Pokemon that you caught in the game captive in the ball, and then when you carry the ball around, the Pokemon gets experience points. I'm really nerding out on this, and I know not everybody listening to this plays Pokemon, so you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But it's pretty cool. This bundle pack is really cool. And honestly, you buy the game for $60. You can buy the controller separate for $50. It's $110. This bundle pack is $100. So all this extra work you're putting into finding the bundle pack, because the bundle pack is hot this year. The Let's Go Pikachu is hot, and it's sold out everywhere. Let's Go Eevee is another Pokemon in the game, is a lot easier to find. So if your kids are asking for the Pokemon Let's Go bundle pack, just know that if they say they want the Pikachu one, they're going to be disappointed when they open the Eevee one. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. They'll be excited that they got the game, but they're going to be bummed when they get the Eevee one, if they specifically ask for the Pikachu one. Now, some kids like Eevee better, but clearly based on the sales that they're seeing in the stores and which ones are available in the stores still, Eevee is the much less popular character. Pikachu is like he's the mascot of the game, and he has been for 15 years. So he's recognizable, and that's why everybody wants him. But yeah, so this bundle pack is only saving you $10 over buying the components separately. But there's just something cool about that bundle pack. Well, for one thing, it comes with a special edition Pokemon that you can't get otherwise. So that's like the selling point, is you can't catch this certain Pokemon unless you buy the bundle pack. God damn it, I'm nerding out. Nobody wants to hear about this. Nobody wants to hear about this. This is not a video game podcast. This is a kids podcast. But you know what? This is important stuff for parents to know. If their kids are into Pokemon and they're asking for something and you have no idea what the hell they're talking about, do some homework, man. I mean, I know a lot of the people listening to this that have kids are probably around my age, so they grew up with video games and everything. Like, my mom is still to this day clueless about video games, but that's because she didn't have it when she was a kid. So she has no frame of reference for what it's like being a kid wanting these video games. And I do. So that's why I kind of do my homework on him. If there's a certain game Mark's asking for, I'll look it up. I'll look up how it's played and if he can handle it. And, not that I censor him, but I also don't want him having to come up to me every 3 minutes and, hey, Dad, what does this do? And, hey, Dad, how do you do this? Because, I don't want to necessarily play these games. So I just want to make sure he can without my assistance, And that's really shrewd and shitty to say, like, oh, I don't want to play with my kid at all. And I don't mean it like that. But if you have kids his age that are playing video games, you know how frustrating it is when you're in the middle of cooking dinner for them and every minute and a half they're coming in, hey, Dad, I need you to do this. And it's like, hey, I'm stirring a pot right here. I can't quite do that. Or you're out mowing the lawn and they race out in the yard, hey, Dad, I don't know how to read. It's like, dude, I need an hour to finish what I'm doing and then I can come help you. But they don't understand that, and that's why it's just easier if you get the stuff that's tailored to them, I shouldn't have to tell you that. You should know that already. But Pokemon Let's Go is a game that he can absolutely play. I already got him playing. I think I talked about this already. I got him playing the Game Boy version of Pokemon, the original Pokemon Blue. I plugged that into the Game Boy, and I did it as like a test to see if, since his reading scores were down and I can't get him motivated enough to read books around the house, I did it to see if there was something I could get him to care about reading, and I figured a video game would be the way to do that, and guess what? He's doing it. He's not reading as much as I wanted him to. It's a very texty game, Anytime you're in the middle of something, it was before games like talked to you, so everything was in text. So there's a lot of reading, and one thing that backfired on me that I didn't think about was all the Pokemon names are just made up words. So him learning to read those words has almost no value to him learning to read. That's not entirely true. He's still picking apart the letters and the sections of the words and sounding them out and pronouncing them. So it's helping his phonics skills, but it's not helping his vocabulary his understanding of sight words or anything. He's just learning to read nonsense words by picking apart the sounds, which is, I have to imagine it's somewhat beneficial, but not as much as I had originally thought when I was thinking this through. But yeah, here I am sidetracked again talking about Pokemon, and I was talking about Pokemon Let's Go, but I think I'm done with that anyway. Oh, Christmas shopping. Elf on the Shelf. I'm going to go ahead and talk about Elf on the Shelf for a minute, because it's been a point of contention of mine for a couple of years now, because it's annoying as hell. Parents, if you're the parents that go out of their way to stage these elaborate scenes with all your Legos or your action figures or whatever, and it's like a big, if your Elf on the Shelf thing is elaborate enough that you feel it's necessary to take a picture of it and post it all over social media, fuck you, kinda. a little bit, because there's a lot of us parents that don't have the time or patience or capability to do stuff like that, and you're ruining it for the rest of us, you know? So like my kid, I don't have Elf on the Shelf at my house. I'm up until now I've refused to do it, and actually I was just talking to Ashley about it today that I'm kind of regretting it now, because the girls are at the perfect age where they adore it, you know. I know my kids have one at their mom's house, so they've already gotten to see and play and the whole Elf on the Shelf game, whatever. And it's not a game, but you know what I mean. There's like a whole thing about it. They get it and they love it. I don't know if Scarlett has it at her dad's house. Her dad, I won't get into that, but I don't know what her dad's doing for Christmas. So I don't know if she has an elf over there or not. I don't think she does. She's never mentioned it, but I feel bad. She would love it. I know she would. So I want to get one here. But seeing all you other parents that do all this elaborate stuff just ruins it for me, because like it's supposed to be just this, you know, you read them the story about the elf, and let me walk you through it. If I talked to somebody today that literally had no idea what Elf on the Shelf was. So I guess if you've been living under a rock for the last 5 years and you just absolutely haven't heard of this thing, Elf on the Shelf is like a storybook that comes with this little elf doll, right? And the story is about this elf that, you know, basically this elf doll is actually alive, and he's like kind of Santa's spy almost. He watches the kids around the house to make sure they're being good, and if they're naughty or whatever, he reports it back to Santa. And if the kids touch this elf doll, it loses its magic and blah, 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 blah. So obviously the doll's not like up and walking around the house. It's not really alive. We all know this. But, you know, Toy Story rules, you know, when we're not around, the doll comes alive and can move around and stuff. So every night you're supposed to move this doll to a new location just so the kids wake up, and then it's kind of like a game every morning where they get up and they look for, where's the elf today? What's he doing today? And that's kind of the fun of it, is finding the elf and seeing what it got into and stuff. So mostly you're just supposed to like move it around and like hide it, and maybe like one day it's hiding in the tree looking out at everything, and one day it's literally on the shelf. That's the idea of it. It's sitting on a shelf watching them, or you know, stuff like that. But then you can find it all over the internet. There's these parents that go out of their way that they get other toys involved, where like the toys, like stormtrooper dolls, are tying up the elf in a chair and like holding it at gunpoint and stuff like that. It's like, why do you gotta, you know, or like the elf will make a big mess in the kitchen, like be sitting in the middle of a pile of sugar or something with sugar all over the counter and stuff, and then you got to clean all that shit up, and it's like, I don't know. I guess those ones that I just mentioned are not really that elaborate, so it's not like they take that much time. But seriously, you have to know which ones I'm talking about. If you've seen it at all on the internet, you know the parents I'm talking about, and that is annoying as fuck. All right? It's annoying. You're annoying. And everyone hates you, not just me. Because you're ruining it for everybody else. You're making the effort that they're putting in look like shit. So everyone hates it. It's not just me. No, it is just me. I'm being a Grinch right now. I got termites in my smile. God, that was lame. I'm not going to do that anymore. Yeah, Elf on the Shelf. It annoys me. The parents that take it too far annoy me. And I'm sorry for going off on a rant about it, but it annoys me. But actually, you know what? I'm going to be a hypocrite here now, because there's been something that I saw it passed around on Facebook last year, and it's getting passed around on Facebook again this year. There's like a viral, not viral, but there's like a meme being passed around, supposedly written by a teacher or something, begging parents to, like, you know, Christmas presents. Make sure when you give your kids Christmas presents, make sure that you just give them one from Santa, or give them something small from Santa, and then make the rest of them just from you. Because I can't tell you, the parents, the less fortunate families, how disappointed the kids are that blah, 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 that they see the kids get the fancy things and they think that Santa likes them less and stuff. Look, I get where you're coming from. I get where that's coming from. It's coming from a good place, and it's coming from a meaningful place. But I'll tell you what, I grew up in, I'm not going to say we were poor, but we didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up. Especially after my parents divorced, and my mom, it was just my mom in the house. We didn't have a lot of money, and my mom did the best she could every year for Christmas. And actually, she worked her ass off. And my mom's very frugal, so she would just save all year. And I realistically don't know how much she spent on us for Christmas, but there's ways to make your Christmas feel and seem better and fancier, because little kids, they don't understand the monetary value of anything. So if you're talking about kindergartners, first graders, second graders, even they don't know that Santa spent more, quote unquote, Santa spent more on their presents than on someone else's, or vice versa. They just, as long as you get them a thing that they can get really excited about, you be creative with it. So maybe they're asking for an Xbox 360, or I guess it's Xbox One. Man, I'm showing my my not keeping up with technology. Say they're asking for a Nintendo Switch for Christmas, and you don't have $300 to drop on a Nintendo Switch. That doesn't mean that they will only be happy with the Nintendo Switch. Do some digging, find out something else that would mean a lot to them, and get them that, Then when they're comparing their Christmas gifts at school a couple weeks later, they'll be able to say, I really wanted this, and Santa brought it to me. They don't know that, Santa didn't get me my $300 gift, but he got me my $25 gift instead. They don't think in terms like that. So whatever this thing is that this teacher is passing around, maybe there is some truth to it in some classrooms, but you know what? Don't let that spoil. I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with just I don't know. I don't know what my point is. All of our gifts are going to be from Santa. And I'm sorry if that offends anybody. I'm sorry if other parents are mad that I'm getting my son a Nintendo Switch game for Christmas, and they are getting their kids socks. I don't know. I'm sorry. But you know what? If you only have $10 to get your kids Christmas presents, there are still ways to do it. So it's not just about the money. It's about how much effort you're going to put into it, into making sure that that little bit amount of money you have is used the best that it can be. You know what I mean? So if your kids are really just getting socks and underwear, that's a little bit your fault still. I mean, I'm not trying to be shitty about it, but shit. No, that is shitty, no matter how I put it, because maybe they need the socks and underwear. I don't know. I'm talking myself in circles here. I guess I'm playing devil's advocate on myself right now, because I can really see both sides of this argument. Where do you stand on this? Should you worry about what other parents are getting their kids for Christmas, or should you just worry about your own self and your own family and your own house? Realistically, the kids have so much time off after Christmas now. Especially this year, Christmas is towards the beginning of Christmas break for my kids, and they're off for another week and a half after that before they go back to school. So by the time they get back to school, they're gonna, I'm sure they'll talk about Christmas and they'll talk about the stuff they were excited about, but the bulk of the disappointment or excitement of the season is already over at that point. So they're going to get back to school that day and they're just going to be like, yeah, I got this for Christmas, because it's not exciting anymore. They've had a week and a half to let the excitement fade. And, And vice versa. Oh, I only got socks for Christmas. By the time they get back to school, they're over it, you know? Kids are quick like that. They don't hold on to things very long. At least in my experience. I don't know. I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional anything with kids. Why are you listening to this? Why are you taking my advice? I'm just a dad. I'm a dad with 3 kids that I've never taken a parenting class or read a parenting... That's a lie. I did read a parenting book. I read a couple of them before Mark was born. But it's... those books have long since been irrelevant, you know. Those were basically like for the first year of the baby's life. What then? Everything else from that point on, I've just been winging it, you know. That's what everybody does, I think. And you know what? My kids are happy with me winging it. So if you're taking all the time to read all the latest blogs and, you know, listen to the talk show hosts and whatever you're doing, that's a waste of time. The kids will let you know what they want and how they feel, and you got to take the time to listen to your own family and not just to the experts, you know? Every kid is just so damn different that what's good for one family is not necessarily good for the... Okay, that's where I'm going to land on this, you know? This whole, should you make all of your kids gifts from Santa or not, is you do what you think your kids can handle. If they're going to be going to school and bragging like, my house, I got a Xbox and a PlayStation and a Nintendo Switch and blah 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 blah, and if they're going to be picking on the other kids because the other kids didn't get what they got and blah 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 blah, if they're going to be bullies about it, then fucking you gave that stuff to them, not Santa, you know? That way at least like they can say, you know, oh, my dad got this for me, but Santa just got me the game or whatever. You know, if your kid's an asshole, maybe do it that way. If your kid's cool and polite and goes out of their way to make sure they don't hurt anybody's feelings, like a certain boy in my family is always doing things like that, I think he can handle... If Santa gave him $1,000, I don't think he would go to school and brag about it. You know, because he knows he's sensitive to other people's feelings, almost to a fault sometimes. He wouldn't, and I'm not, okay. Don't get me wrong. Oh, my kid's perfect and your kid's an asshole. I don't mean it like that. Mark can be an asshole too sometimes. But Mark is a very sensitive kid. I think we've discussed at length how sensitive he is sometimes. And with that comes a lot of empathy. So he is very in tune with other people feeling sad or angry and stuff like that. And he does his best all the time to make sure people aren't upset or mad because of him, you know. So in that way, I can say he's a pretty good kid. So he can handle getting the fancy presents from Santa because he's not going to go brag about it. And also, he may be the one defending the kid that only got socks and saying, oh, those are really nice socks. That's the kind of kid he is. Maybe teach your kids to do that instead. You know? If you're really that worried about what other kids are getting and what you're getting instead and blah, 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 maybe teach your kids to... you know, compliment the stuff, whether they think it's good or not, you know. I don't know. Again, I'm just spitballing here. Don't fucking, if you think I'm being an idiot, don't listen to any of this, I guess. I'm just talking about Christmas. I love Christmas. Christmas music, too. Christmas music's been on the radio for a while, and I love it. It's the best part about Christmas is the Christmas music. And unfortunately, my son doesn't like it. So I was riding around in the car with him last week, and he made me turn off my Christmas music. A kid making his dad turn off the Christmas music. Tell me that's not backwards. right? Anyway, this already went on longer than I wanted it to because I got stuff to do tonight still. But I got on a roll here talking about you idiot parents and idiot viral, memes on Facebook. And I don't know. Do you do Elf on the Shelf? What is your opinion on the whole debate about should gifts be from Santa? Also, you know what? Here's something I wanted to ask. Maybe don't put this directly on my Facebook. If you would like to discuss this, email me or direct message me on Facebook if you want. You can look me up, Chris Plant, on Facebook if you want, and message me. Again, I really hope your kids at this point are not listening to this. I did give you a warning a half an hour ago, so I'm going to go ahead and just say this. What age is the correct age to fill your kids in about Santa? The magic of the season. What age is the appropriate age to just take that magic away from them? And I know this is not something that it's like a definitive 7 years old for everyone. It's nothing like that. This is something that's very, household to household, it's different. For instance, my older sister, she told all her kids at the same time when my nephew was like 3, which I could have fucking murdered her for that, because meanwhile, my son is also 3, and here her son is going to go and blab it to my son, which luckily, thank God, did not happen, still has not happened, because I don't know. I want to let him go as long as he can. Mark is 8. He still believes. I don't remember how old I was when it was revealed to me. I don't think I was much older than Mark. Maybe 8 or 9 years old. I remember it was before my parents separated, which was when I was in 3rd grade. 10 years old, I think. 3rd grade. Is that right? 10 years old in 3rd grade? Somewhere around there. It was before that, because the way I found out was I caught my dad. I woke up when the tooth fairy was leaving $1 under my pillow. Not very carefully. He wasn't very careful about it. So I woke up and I pretended to fall back asleep. Well, I pretended like I didn't wake up in the first place because I knew something was up, I felt some ruffling around under my pillow, and at that point I was thinking to myself, man, if the tooth fairy is really here and I open my eyes and I see her, she's going to disappear and I'm never going to get $1 for my teeth again. So I just kind of squinted one of my eyes open and I saw my dad stuffing $1 under my pillow. And I tried to fall back asleep, crying myself to sleep after he walked out of the room. So that's how I found out. And at that point, there was already kids in my class that knew, and it was about 50-50 in my class at that point, I feel like. And the kids that knew were teasing the kids that denied, and I just remember waking up that morning and thinking, oh God, they were right this whole time about everything. So I went and I talked to my mom that day, and I said, so I think Dad was the tooth fairy this morning, right? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, so if Dad's the tooth fairy, there's no Easter bunny, is there? She said, no. I said, okay, if there's no Easter bunny, there's no Santa either. Nope. And that was it. But, the magic was over at that point. But then there's something special also about that stage in your life, especially when you have younger siblings. So, like, when Mark finds out, the thing that's going to be nice is he will know, but part of being in on the magic now is making sure you don't spoil the magic for the other kids. And I feel like that's an important distinction too, is if you're one of those families that your kids are never going to believe in Santa Claus because you don't want to lie to your kids. Or that was their excuse, by the way, was, oh, we don't want to lie to our kids. But, if you're straight up like that, then, again, fuck yourself a little bit. And I'm sorry for being so straight and vulgar about it, but, it's not lying just for the sake of, like, fuck it, I'm going to lie to my kids about everything. It's not like that. And you know damn well it's not like that. So if you have that attitude about it, you're the asshole. You're lying to your kids to give them a little bit of childhood innocence and magic, That's what you're giving them. You're not just giving them a head full of lies. You're giving them innocence. And when you deny them that, you're denying them being a child. And I'm not going to apologize for that, because that's how I feel. If you deny your kid's right to be a kid, then you're wrong. You're straight up wrong. Kids need to have that period in their life. Otherwise, you end up with these like overly contentious asshole teenagers and adults that end up telling their kids that there's no Santa Claus when they're 2 years old. That's not happy. That's not fun. Let your kid have a childhood, I will not apologize for that one. You're wrong. I'm not. How did I get into this now? Where was I going? Oh, yeah. So when your kid does eventually find out, make sure you explain it to them that way. That now they're the keeper of the secret too. And, the right thing to do and the nice thing to do and the magical thing to do is to keep the magic going for the other kids the best that they can. I remember how excited I felt because I had 2 younger sisters growing up in the house with me. And I remember how excited I was to, play along with the Santa game for their sake, And then on the holidays, at that point, my mom would let me get up in the middle of the night and help her bring the presents down. Sometimes I'd get to wrap them, and I'd get to hide the Easter eggs. And, there was a whole new level of fun to the holidays. So the magic wasn't completely gone. It was just my magic was now being dispersed to the other kids. You know what I mean? I guess that sounds weird, but you get it. You get it. Yeah, so this went from being a short episode to now I'm over an hour. So I like Christmas. So I talk about Christmas a lot. I could talk about it all day. I could go another hour if you want me to, but I know none of you want to. You're all busy too, and I've been on too long. I got to go. As always, email me. That's the other thing I was going to say. If you want to talk about Santa stuff, don't put it on my Facebook, because I don't want any young eyes to. There's kids on Facebook that are too young to be on Facebook, and I don't want any of them to see it. Or if you comment something and then someone else clicks on it while their kid's looking at the screen, now you spoiled it for them. But if you want to email me, kidsforsalepodcast@gmail.com. Or, like I said, look me up on Facebook, Chris Plant. You can message me directly. And let's talk about your opinion on Santa. And maybe I have one more episode of my season, I believe. I think. Maybe 2. I'll have to talk to the boss man about that. But I know I have at least one more episode before I take a break for the season. And it should be dropping a few days after Christmas. So if anybody decides to get a hold of me, we'll discuss it again after Christmas and see what other parents are doing and what age they revealed and how they revealed, because that's important too. If you're not sure how to talk to your kid about it or when to talk to your kid about it, maybe you could hear from other parents about how to do it and when to do it, and just kind of get a guideline, because that's something that no parent wants to go through. It's a disappointing time for a parent to go through that, when knowing that your kid has lost that little bit of innocence. So I don't know. Figuring out the right way to do it is important, and that's why I want to discuss it, and that's why I really hope somebody takes advantage of my email address or messages me or something. and we'll have something to update next week. I will upload the picture of us at Cabela's in case anybody cares to see how nice the Santa is at Cabela's. If you live in the Northwest Indiana area and you don't know where to take your kids to get the Santa pictures, seriously try Albany's Candy Factory. South Lake Mall or the Mall Santa in any area is tempting because it's right there. It's convenient while you're doing your shopping and blah, 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 blah. But I'm telling you, the Albany's one is always a better Santa, a better backdrop, and you end up spending less on the pictures, and the pictures I feel like are better quality. So that's the biggest tips I can give you. Albany's or Cabela's, nice pictures. Good Christmas pictures. Elf on the Shelf. I don't need to go anymore. I don't need to... Blah, 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 blah. I talked about Elf on the Shelf enough. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You know the rest. Find me on Facebook. As always, check out the other programs on the Journey into Comics network. JourneyIntoComics.com. There's going to be some exciting stuff happening on Journey into Comics, I feel. For one thing, we're changing seasons soon. So I think there's going to be some shows ending for the season and some of them coming back for the next season. And I think that's how it's done, right, Nate? I don't know, man. I think so. This is my first season on Journey into Comics. I've been listening to some of the shows for a while before I got on the network, but this is my first season being a part of it and actually seeing the behind the scenes of it. So I think that's how it works. Like I said, Kids for Sale is going to be taking a break after the season's over, but I got at least one more episode with you, maybe a couple more. And then be on the lookout for the next show to get this slot. JourneyIntoComics.com, though, has programming for everybody, and every day of the week there's new content. So check it out. Great shows on the network. Some great podcasters, some great guests, some funny shows, some, informative shows. There's something for everybody. And check them out. Get on the Patreon. A couple bucks a month. You get extra access to, you get early access to certain episodes. You get some bonus stuff every once in a while, and it helps the network keep going. So if you like my program or programs like Journey into Comics or Foodies Watching Movies or Adulting Ain't Easy, anything on the network. I'm sorry everybody else on the network. I'm getting tired. So I don't want to just keep listing. But there's something for everybody. Check it out. Patreon, a couple bucks a month. It does everybody a favor. Ramble. I'm bad at closing shows. So the end.